Hello and welcome to VIT Today's The Next Step. We have with us Moinack Shaikh. He's a 2017 EC graduate from VIT Vellore. He scored a 99.71 percentile in CAT, 99.87 percentile in XAT, and 99.95 percentile in Maharashtra CET, and went ahead to pursue his MBA from the prestigious FMS New Delhi. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation, and it's my pleasure to host you this evening.
Thank you so much, Akshay, for the introduction, and it's a pleasure to be here. Good to connect with VIT after a long time. It's been, I think, 4 years since I graduated. So glad to be here.
Great. So we'll dive into the questions directly. First question, were you able to utilize maximum opportunities during your stay at VIT? Or if you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself?
Right. So, my VIT journey began in 2013. So, as every guy in first year, you're an enthusiastic engineer looking to try new things, electrical boards, etc. So I was a lot into engineering, I would say, in my first and second year. And after interacting with a few seniors, I got fascinated with the world of stocks. Okay. And then I also found out that VIT, makes us go through a few management courses. So I took up a few courses in finance, economics, econometrics, went a little deep into the sphere. Okay? And I would say that crafted my mind a little bit towards the management side. And at the same time, when it comes to utilizing opportunities, I was able to meet a lot of great minds in my year and my seniors. So we were able to start something called as a Blueprints Club in association with Startups Club and the TBI. Back in 2014, we started with something called a Starter Alexi Incubate. And it was like an entrepreneurial platform for VIT students for tech startups. So that again fascinated me towards the management side of things. So those two combined, gave me an idea that I would like to go ahead and pursue something in management. Coming back to what I would have done differently, maybe, I would have taken up some live projects in marketing. So those were available during the time in VIT, and I did not expose myself towards social media marketing, etc. The upcoming things which are really useful in my job right now. So I think I would have taken up some opportunities there.
Okay, right. Moving towards the MBA kind of interview questions. Was doing an MBA in India a fixed plan, or did you consider going abroad for higher studies?
Oh, so this was a big dilemma. So third and I think second and third year went a lot into wondering whether I want to take the GRE or, take GMAT, go abroad. A lot of plans, when you see your seniors go abroad, automatically that thing kicks in you. And, you want to go to the States, just see everyone go there, etc. So a lot of dilemma. I was quite interested in engineering. I had a great time during my internship at NVIDIA, and hardware engineering is something I thought I liked. And suddenly in third year, as I mentioned, once the finance courses kicked in and I started investing actively and not as a passive investor, then my interest slowly developed towards finance. And I was interning for JCB in the final year in the 8th semester typically. So over there, I interacted with the CFO one day, and he told me, as in we spoke about interest, and he told me, why don't you try out a project in finance along with your final year project? I'm like, why not? Let's give it a shot. And once I entered the world of corporate finance, for a heavy engineering company, that's when I realized, okay, like this is something I definitely want to do. And I would say 2017 May was the time I actually decided that I want to take up an MBA. So, that's how the track went ahead.
Right. Quick follow-up to that again about the CAT preparation phase. Did you manage it alongside your job, or like did you quit the job so as to focus on CAT?
Right. So, as I mentioned, I was with JCB and NVIDIA, and they had given me an offer to join them full time. But suddenly in Pune, I found an offer with an investment fund, right? And over there, I worked as an equity research analyst. And my boss, fortunately, was also an IIM Ahmedabad alum. So he persuaded me not to quit the job, okay, even though I used to work around 14 to 15 hours a day. As you understand, a financial analyst, you have to track markets all day long, etc.
Right.
So it was a little tipsy-turvy, working 14 hours, then coming back, taking a mock, etc. But yeah, I did keep my job and went ahead with CAT preparation. And I suggest the same to everyone. Please never quit your job because, end of the day, when you're sitting in front of an IIM panel, right? So the call to conversion ratio is usually 1:3, 1:5. As you go lower, it goes up to 1:22, right? So if there are 19 people who have WorkX and have successfully made it to the interview, So why should we take you rather than, taking them? Justifying that becomes really difficult when you have a gap in your CV. So I strongly suggest never quit a job. Try to balance time, because in the end, you're aspiring to be a manager, right? If you don't show managerial skills right now, how can you convince the IM panel that you can be a great manager with their brand name?
True that. Moinack, I mean, almost 4 months left for CAT. So what do you think should be the strategy now? And also, how did you analyze your mocks?
Right. So I have a very simple strategy. I don't depend a lot on material. The best way you can learn is mocks. Okay. I strongly suggest that everyone take at least 40 to 45 mocks. The reason being, you need the first 5 mocks to understand what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. Now, as you mentioned, I had 99.71 in CAT. 99.95 is my verbal percentile. 99.73 is my LRDI percentile. QA, you won't believe, is just 93.34. Okay. So the first few mocks, you need to understand where you are strong at, right? And then you have to develop more on your strengths rather than your weaknesses. Because in the end, when you look at CAT, and I'm sure if you guys have seen Quota Factory, in just like IIT JEE, in CAT, you only need to score 50 to 60% marks. Okay. I scored 175.75 out of 300, made it into the top 500 of the country when it came to CAT. So understand your strengths. So first 5 mocks are done over there. Next 10 mocks will come to the right strategy. Okay. Are you a guy who's great with RC? Are you a guy great with VA? Whether you tackle LR questions, do you tackle DI based LR? Okay. So what are in your strengths? In which things are you fast? Right. Then the next 10 mocks, you need to invest in analyzing different methods. So a lot of times when you solve an LR sum just using logic, you will realize if you had just gone to the third question and used the options, you would have cracked the set a lot faster. Yeah. So you need to understand things not just from a top-down approach, but also from a bottom-up approach. That is really important. And this concept equally applies to something called as deductive and inductive logic. Yeah? So that helps you not just in CAT, but also with GMAT preparation, where you have a lot of critical reasoning. And finally, the last 10 mocks, last 10, 15 mocks need to go into understanding the time frame you will be taking the CAT. Now, remember, there are 3 slots, right? You need to perform your best during those 2 particular hours. Yeah? It's no point if you're a champ from a 9 to 11 slot and you have a evening 2 to 4 slot, right? So this is how typically you should plan your prep. And coming to mock analysis, again, please maintain an Excel sheet. Yeah. One thing I truly believe, and even I have been mentoring students for CAT. So I always tell them, don't just be happy if you get a question correct. Let's say in RC, you got a question right, one option B is correct. Please spend time in understanding why option A, C, and D are incorrect. Yeah. So that will give you a lot of perspective and it'll keep you on track. Okay, like, हाँ, ये मेरे को याद है. This reason से ये गलत था. I see a similar analogy over here. That's why this option is wrong. It helps you build up pace for option elimination. Trust me, each 10 seconds saved is bringing you closer to your IM journey.
That makes sense. Moving on to a very important kind of a question, because many people feel demotivated during this journey, right? So did you ever feel demotivated during your prep phase, and how did you overcome it?
Right. So, I actually took CAT twice. So my first CAT attempt was a semi-serious attempt where I scored 98.97 approximately. Okay. Then I decided that day itself that I will take CAT, but I will give my interviews first. So the first round of interviews went well. I converted XLBM. Okay. But then I wanted to go a step further. XLBM, MBI, Gurgaon, etc. They were all done. So, you understand, I came from a vantage point where I already converted from the top B schools. I took my first mock in May after a 5-month gap. My scores dropped down to 88 percentile. But that might have been a very demotivating moment in my life. Okay, that's what I thought it will be. But then I took it up as a challenge. I'm like, it's okay, because one thing I can tell you about CAT, it is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Okay, so you need to develop. It takes a lot of time to develop things. So on Quora, if you just go to my Quora profile, I've pinned down an answer called my VRC prep. Yeah. I started with 38 marks in VRC, took the next 7-8 mocks, reached 50s, 7-8 mocks, 70s, 7-8 mocks, 90s. Okay, in those 7-8 mocks, of course, there were ups and downs, etc. But you just need to remember that all these mocks don't matter. Yeah, a lot of you might be going to pagalguy.com and getting intimidated by all these, toppers getting 200 while you're just stuck at 102 marks. Trust me, happened with me too. The mock where I scored my highest score was CAT. I never scored more than 175 marks in any of the mocks I've ever taken. Right. So if you feel demotivated, just remember you have to perform on D-Day and no other day. You have to just prove yourself on that day and everything will be fine. Secondly, I had really good friends, so I prepared with a group, right? So one of my friends cracked the 100 percentile, made it to IIM Ahmedabad. Another friend 99.61. Unfortunately, two of my flatmates in FMS Delhi, they were also my prep partners. So, preparing together gives you a good feel because, you see everybody on the same boat. So, when you asked me about the job part, when you see your friends, okay, wo bhi kaam kar rahe hain, wo bhi mock de rahe hain, it motivates you. Okay, we are all in the same boat, man. They are pushing, I will push myself. Plus, you learn a lot from each other. So my flatmate Praharsh, he was great with quant. He's a quant god. Okay, he scored I think near about 100. He taught me quant. I helped him with VRC. So this to and fro aspect of having a good prep group is really important. But at the same time, ensure guys that you're not chit chatting a lot and wasting your time. It has to be a focused study group. So yeah, that is on this question.
Right. So you had a stellar score in SAT and MHCET as well. So how did you prepare for those exams? How were they different from CAT?
Okay. So, those exams are not really different from CAT. So my preparation perspective was never to go with shortcuts, right? In quant, you must be hearing a lot, shortcut method, VRC, shortcut method, etc. I always believed in fundamentals. That's what even engineering is based on. You learn one funda, you apply it everywhere. Similar with CAT. VRC, I developed a lot in aspect of reading speed and comprehension and option elimination. That is something consistent, whether it be ZAT, whether it be MSc CET, you will encounter RCs over there, right? The way to solve remains the same. Maybe the words in the passage are a little smaller, questions are a little more direct, etc. That's all that happens. Coming to quant, again, if your funda is, straight, time, speed, distance, the basic formulas, all you need to do is just apply it at the same place. Little difference comes in that is something called as decision making, right? So decision making is all about having a balanced mindset. One of the best ways to tackle that, and a lot of you might go for the SPJMR admission process. They have something called psychometric test. Yeah. So these things, the best way to answer such things is whatever comes to your mind first. Yeah. These will ethically challenge you. So you need to have your ethics straight. You need to have a very balanced mindset. I think that's what helps you. CET again becomes an exam of speed. So again, as I said, if your fundamentals are straight, if you're able to apply that one formula in 10 different ways, automatically you'll be fast. So I think that was my funda with all the exams, and I was able to crack them consistently. Develop your fundamentals. Don't go for shortcut methods. That'll be my advice.
CAT is just half the battle, right, Moinack? How did you prepare for GDPI and VAT for the colleges that you received calls from?
Okay. So I'll tell you one thing that CAT actually tests. Okay. Any IM panel, they are just seeking one answer. Can you be trusted by my brand name? Yeah. Can we trust you? Is the only question they ask. If you see any and every question, first question will technically start with tell me about yourself. Okay. By that, they are just trying to understand whether you know yourself or no. Okay. You can make a very fancy answer. What they'll do is just, keep 2, 3 counter questions ready and it'll expose you. So first things first, be honest, because unless you're honest, you cannot be trusted, right? And trust me, you cannot fool them. Like, after attending a B school for 2 years, one thing I realized, they can just look at you and tell you are lying. Tremendous amount of experience, industrial expertise. So know yourself, be honest with things. That is one thing you need to develop right from your CAT days. Okay. Because, if you have a tendency to oversell yourself or, undersell yourself, two sides of the coin, that thing comes out in the interview in a stressful situation because then you feel, okay, my life depends on this. So learn to reduce that pressure by being very honest with yourself attributes right from the start. Second aspect comes is general awareness, right? That doesn't mean that you know facts. It just shows that you are able to connect things. So fortunately, as I was a financial analyst, I was used to things. Let's say inflation is going up. So, before inflation is going, what does that mean? There'll be less amount of money flow, interest rates up, down, etc. So that will impact this industry, which will impact my pocket. So those guys are just looking for things, what we call as opinions. They want your opinions. A lot of people say, I memorized this fact. I was not able to clear the interview because my friend, you are not able to connect facts. Yeah. So first thing is honesty. Second thing is able to express opinions in a non-opinionated manner. That is, you should not sound biased. So like I remember in one of my interviews, we had a great discussion about, Prime Minister Modi, right? So that interview I was able to clear in one go. It was just a 10-minute discussion for a Blackie IM about Prime Minister Modi. I had a very balanced approach toward things, gave the pros, cons, etc. I did not criticize him heavily. I did not support him like a fanatic. Okay. So keeping balance is again very important. And finally, you should know why you are coming for an MBA. Okay. And an acceptable answer is that you are not sure of your stream. A lot of times they will pressurize you. Okay, what do you want to do? You want to do finance? If you don't know about finance, please don't say you want to do finance. Yeah. Do not try to act cool. Be honest. So I am exploring. Maybe I want to go into general management. I have a slight interest towards marketing. Yeah. Express your interest. That also works absolutely fine. Because if it didn't, we wouldn't be taking in freshers, right? Which is at least 40% of the batch. So be honest with the reasons you're doing an MBA. Okay. Of course, these reasons won't work. That I want to shift my job. I was bored with IT. Yeah. I don't want to stay in engineering. I want a promotion. Those are not reasons you want to do an MBA. So if they are to trust you, they will see your honesty. They will see your opinions. They will see your passion. So this is the third pillar you need to base your GDPI prep on. Rest, internal things like HR answers, tell me about yourself, 3 strengths, 3 weaknesses. Those can be handled at a later time. But the mindset has to be cultivated from day one, which we can say as 18th July.
Right. How was your FMS journey, and what would be your advice to the people who are set to begin their MBA journey this year?
So FMS was definitely a roller coaster ride. After engineering, which is sort of a breezy journey, you expect that your PG will be the same, but trust me, it's not. Your seniors are constantly there, initially behind you, but after you graduate, you realize that because of the things they did, that's the reason you are where you are right now. Because the responsibility is quite understandable. Let's say I just graduated and I'm leading a complete project. Okay. I have people who are elder to me who are coming and reporting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those aspects can only be developed when you have cultivated yourself to be a person who can listen, who can be a good leader. And that is something what I feel the B schools train you for. So yeah, when you enter, it's going to be a rigorous journey. Things like you have submissions at night 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, scheduled back to back, and you think, okay, what have I done to myself? Things like that happen. It's a very competitive environment, but at the same time, people are very friendly. Yeah. I mean, of course, we are all fighting for the top short list. We want the best jobs, etc. But there is a camaraderie in a B school, which actually helps you. So remember the thing which I told you that have a group of friends during a CAT prep, that something emulates itself in a B school also. When you see everybody's in the same boat, everybody's taking that amount of stress. Yeah. That's when you grow as a person. That's when you work as a team. And that's when you don't get bogged down by things. Let's say, day 0 passed, you didn't get placed. It's okay. You have your friends who are there with you, who are supporting you. So B schools do help develop you as a person. Other than that, I got to try a lot of things which I, never thought I'll do in my life. I got to work with an NGO, actually went and did sales. And being in DU, it was a great experience. I interact with a lot of people from Faculty of Law, Faculty of Economics. It's a great place to interact. You get to meet a lot of alums. So just imagine being a fresher, or, just in a first year of B school, you're talking to the CEO of Unilever. Those kind of experiences are, completely unbeatable. Of course, with the B school life come the B school parties, etc. You must have seen 2 states, I'm sure. So yeah, those aspects also exist along with the stress in life. But overall, a great nurturing experience. And my advice to first years would be patient. Yeah. Trust the process. I'm sure all of you must have heard these words in different B schools, and you guys must be abusing me right now. But trust me, after your summers are over, you will realize the importance of these words. So just trust the process, trust your seniors. Don't get, don't refuse any opportunity. Like, I got an opportunity to do marketing. I took it up. Even I was a finance guy. My summers, I got placed with a general management company. Okay. While I'd gone with a mindset of getting placed in an investment banking company. So I didn't get bogged down. I'm like, come on, let's an opportunity. Let's explore. I absolutely loved it because, I then realized I don't want to be a person just behind a screen doing financial analysis, making models. I actually wanted to be on ground and do implementation work. So if you have any preconceived notion that I'm a great marketer or, I'm a finance guy, great. If you have it, nothing wrong. But let's say you don't get into something that, please do not take it as a step back in your life. Take it up as an opportunity. You never know, you might actually end up loving it. So just be open. That's all I'll say. Rest things are actually B school trades, and I would like it to be locked up and something that can be explored once they enter the B school.
Right. I guess we have summarized most of your journey, and coming to the end of the interview, would you like to deliver any message for the current batch of VITians watching this interview?
Sure. So firstly, guys, first message would definitely be have a great time at VIT. Trust me, it's the best time you will have in your life. Secondly, be focused on what you want to do. Yeah. Let's say you want to go to the US, please go to the US. You want to do engineering, do engineering. You want to do filmography. Actually, I have my batchmate who went to New York, and I think he's an assistant director somewhere. So, he took up a very unique course. If you want to be a graphic designer, please be a graphic designer. Entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur. Just do what you want. Do not follow what people are doing and you just get into the race. Now, coming to CAT, I would strongly suggest that you take up IMS SimCats and AIMCats from time. Please start taking mocks from day one. Do not wait to complete your syllabus. Okay. The moment you will complete your syllabus, that'll be beyond CAT, because you never complete your syllabus for CAT. Okay. That's why it's important. You have a strengths and weakness in place. You're constantly analyzing mocks, constantly taking them. That's the way you will clear the journey. And finally, if you're getting any opportunity in management right now, please take it up. Okay. Maybe as a project, maybe you take part in the fests, or you take part in some club and committee, etc. You do work for an NGO, anything. If you're getting a management exposure, please take it up, because it's a great talking point in your interviews. Again, if you don't have it, that is also no problem. But having it, of course, gives you the extra edge. So yeah, prepare well, just be open in life. And again, as I said, have a great time now and during the journey, because it's very important you enjoy the journey, because that passion then comes out in the interview, and that's what will make you reach the black EIMs.
Right. So that's it, Moinack. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this interview is insightful for the people preparing for CAT. So yeah.
Hey, thank you for hosting me, Akshay.
Bye bye.